Well, looky here. I don't know what to think about this. Or maybe I do know what I'm thinking about it, but I'm unsure what other people think about it, and I don't want to offend anybody. The Florida teen who beat the female teacher unconscious after his Nintendo Switch was confiscated at school pleaded guilty. He faces up to 30 years behind bars. Oh, 30. I thought it was 20. Let's see what Reddit, good old Reddit, has to say. He has also threatened to kill her since then. Gee, I wonder why he'd do that. Could it be lawsuits? Could it be because it went viral and he doesn't like it? So, people like him, let's blame the victim. Let's blame somebody easy. Depa, who allegedly told cops he was going to kill her when he is released from custody, will be tried as an adult for aggravated battery on the employee, a charge punishable by up to 30 years behind bars. Can you please clarify who makes the decision to try somebody as an adult? Seems like a hugely consequential decision to be made unilaterally before the full circumstances of the case are reviewed and understood. Um, I am really not interested at this time about that. Guy beat a woman unconscious and couldn't even pretend to be remorseful by threatening her life after he had time to cool off over getting his video game taken from him in school. He should be charged as an adult. He knew what he was doing, and he doubled down later on and over something so trivial. Children know what they're doing. They just don't understand the ramifications of what they're doing. Children generally have less impulse control, less forethought, etc. This dude beating up somebody over a video game does sound like he lacks forethought and is impulsive. He should be punished for what he did. I just wonder if 30 years in prison is necessary. Well, I did think the same thing, but it turns out he's doubled down and threatened to kill her once out, so yeah, no, 30 years sounds good to me. Who cares? You beat somebody half to death and threaten to finish the job over a fucking Nintendo. You deserve to be locked up. Yeah, this wasn't an on the line kind of crime, like shoplifting or maybe driving recklessly. Fucking Reddit. Blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that. Where were we? Yeah, like shoplifting or maybe driving recklessly. He knew what he was doing. He attacked that woman. He is a danger to society, and a jail cell is where he belongs, regardless of age. This is fucked up. He needs to be locked up. Yeah, the brain is in development though until about 25 years old. Yeah, you're right. And I never beat anybody half to death and threatened to kill them for taking a Nintendo away. I wouldn't have done that at 17, 16. I wouldn't have done that at 9 or 8. There's your difference. 30 years is just the max that can be given. He isn't getting 30 for that. Guess what? He also has 3 prior assault charges, plus a threat of further physical harm. Yeah, he's going to get the full 30 years. Here's his mom's side of the story. According to his mom, this is a boy who gained 100 pounds over the span of a year and has the emotional maturity of a 6-year-old. The teacher in the class was not following his IEP. Blah, blah, blah. To address a lot of the comments like those being made in this thread, she has said this: I am deeply saddened when I read comments that call him a monster, encourage authorities to lock him up forever, and make suggestions to send him to prison with a jar of Vaseline. He's a human, a boy on the spectrum, with the emotional maturity of a 4 to 6-year-old who has mental health issues and a family that loves him. I was 4 to 6 years old once. I never beat anybody up and threatened to kill them over a Nintendo. It helps to keep them away from the rest of us. Well, yeah. I remember this, and I'm glad they're making an example of him. Nobody should ever fear their students. Nobody should ever fear anybody like that. I don't give a shit if you're a teacher or a student or if you're on the street or you're at home. The fuck do I care what problems a person has? Nobody would ever do that to me and expect to get away with it. I would be pushing for 30 years if somebody tried to beat me to death over a fucking video game. And so would all the rest of you. She didn't even take the Switch away, just asked him to stop playing it in class. Amazing how technical some people can get. You're in school. You can't play video games in class. You are supposed to sit your ass down and listen. I mean, what are you going to do against a giant kid with poor decision making skills and R word strength? There was a literal Marine there, and he just casually strolled up like nothing was happening. Yeah, that's the one who should be fired. If I were her or her family, I'd be taking his ass to court next. She could actually sue the school district. Dear old mom would be paying one way or the other. I would never let something like that go. That's not just getting beaten up by some kid over a Nintendo. That's everybody around when they're aware of the situation, choosing not to protect me, an adult, an employee, a person being attacked at my job. I hope that guy was fired. I hope they're kissing her ass, hoping, praying that she doesn't sue them. Read a news report that said his lawyers asked her to speak for him to get a lesser sentence. She told them to fuck off. As well she should have. Yeah, this kid is probably going away for the full 30 years. Yeah, there's a line. This is a guy who has done something really bad and probably had bad things done to him. He may be irredeemable. I really hope he's given a chance to redeem himself. Yes, of course, he does deserve a chance to redeem himself. But for now, he needs to be put the fuck away. Whatever opportunity he has to redeem himself is going to have to come from him. He's going to have to prove that himself. That's for him to do. You don't decide beforehand. It's all dependent on him. And whatever professionals will now hopefully be watching this kid like a hawk in some secure facility for a number of years. I wouldn't feel bad for him and speak for him. It doesn't mean I don't hope that he redeems himself. It doesn't mean I don't hope that he fixes his life and gets his shit together. What I'm saying is the same thing I hope this woman and her lawyers are saying. It ain't going to happen before the trial. It ain't going to happen in a year, probably not in 5 or 10 years. And honestly, that's not her problem. That's what everybody's thinking about, is what it means for this kid, like he's a normal kid. And they're not thinking about the victim. She also has to live with this shit. Who knows what type of damage she incurred physically? Who knows what road she has ahead of her trying to hold the school themselves responsible for their failure to protect her or come to her aid? And she has as much time, she can take as much time as she needs to forgive him. As far as what he can do to redeem himself, that's up to him, and it's not her problem. Society doesn't need him. Keep him behind bars, absolutely mental. Ah, some of these fucking people. I'm telling you. Did they actually expect her to vouch for him or something? I bet it was the lawyer's idea. Play on the empathy and patience of an educator of young minds or some nonsense to that effect. Yeah, and that beating went on any longer, she'd have a mind that's less developed than his is. We don't need more of that. This isn't some face palm. This is just a fucking crime by a total piece of shit. This is Reddit. It's a media toilet since it was created over a decade ago. I am a total piece of shit. Exactly. This should be there. Actually, you're right. Normally, I'd be reticent about a sentence that severe for some underage offender that didn't kill 1,000 people or something, but after watching this video, I'm okay if he gets the max. Absolutely horrific. There should be zero tolerance. And then they wonder why people don't want to be teachers. Shitty pay, shitty benefits, school shootings, and then I don't want to say because I'd get in trouble on top of it. Be me, ex-RTF unit manager, do treatment for kids like this, except I'm sure you can imagine how batshit nuts it can get when you shove 15 big-ass kids on a single unit. Teachers don't get paid enough, and we got paid even less. Now I work in finance for 3 times the money. That's the problem. The most important figures in young human lives are severely underpaid, which causes many to just leave for better pay, better work-life balance, and better perks. Let me get one thing straight as somebody who did work in a school for 3 years. Teachers are probably the #1 profession in this country that has the best work-life balance anywhere. I know the pay is less in many places than what people think teachers deserve, but that's mostly because teachers need to get at least a bachelor's before they can start actively working. Usually they would need a master's, or to complete the master's, which they're allowed to start working. They are given time to complete the master's after they get the job. A lot of jobs don't do that. You don't have the degree, you don't get the job, but teachers do. And then they complain about the pay. They complain about the pay the same reason kids today complain about going into debt for a degree and then not getting a decent job. They went to school and they think their pay is shit. I would personally kill for the pay of a teacher. I worked in a school doing the same work, the same hours as a teacher. I didn't get half of what teachers make. And just an FYI, we did most of their work for them. That includes grading students, correcting papers, and doing the paperwork for report cards. Yeah, the teachers didn't do any of that. We did. And then they complain about the pay. But yeah, don't bring up work-life balance. Teachers have roughly the same schedules as school children do. It's 5 days a week, early morning to early to mid-afternoon, weekends off, major holidays off, minor holidays off, federal holidays off, spring break, Christmas break, winter break, the summer is off. And if you want to work the summer, you have that option, still with your weekends and your major and minor holidays off. Do not ever say teachers do not have good work-life balance. My parents both worked for a minimum of 25 years for the federal government. It was like pulling teeth trying to get a major holiday off. My mom when I was little, spent almost no Christmases with us. You had to have this seniority to be able to get a major holiday off, and just one major holiday off a year. Most jobs that you work, especially if they're in customer service, food service, retail, let's face it, any one of a billion service jobs out there, you don't get any of that at all. You don't get vacations, let alone paid vacations. You don't get weekends off. You don't get a spring break. You're not off for the summer. You have to put in like months ahead of time, and even then, half the time you're screwed when you want a single day off that isn't a major or minor holiday. They'll give you shit over that. That's the reality a lot of people live, but teachers definitely don't. Now, I'm not saying that this type of shit should ever be tolerated. What people don't want to realize is nobody should be tolerating it anywhere. Anywhere. It really doesn't matter if she was a teacher or if she was a daycare provider or a cashier at the Stop and Shop. Nobody should ever have to put up with that type of treatment. And if it's specifically job related, especially with the way that asshole just casually walked up to the fray, I wouldn't be working there anymore anyway. And I would be suing my employer because there's a trade-off. It's just like with my last job. Yeah, I know. I'm either going to get paid shit or I'm going to get treated like shit. I don't have to be a teacher to understand that. Most people in this country know what that's like. I had to quit my last job, and that doesn't mean give them notice, because a job would never give you notice if you were fired. Nope, I just had to up and walk out because there is a trade-off, at least where I'm concerned in my life right now. You're not going to both treat me like shit and pay me like shit. That ain't going to happen. I'm not putting up with that anymore. So this woman definitely should sue. In fact, why the hell are you talking about teacher pay at all? Nobody should be talking about teacher pay. You should all be talking about how rich of a woman she's going to be within 1 to 2 years off of the lawsuits. That's what everybody should be talking about. Being a teacher and whatever she had to deal with, that should be something that means nothing at this point. Absolutely nothing. You should be looking at this and saying, holy crap, she's going to have it made in a very short time. Now guys are going to be running up to her wanting to propose because she's going to have something like 20 mil in the bank. She's going to have $1 million for every year this piece of shit is in some facility somewhere. Because that's exactly what I would do. And if it were you, you'd do the exact same thing. And I hope she does. Old. Uh-oh, Ronnie Twinkletoes is at it again. Expert shoemaker says Ron DeSantis is wearing heels. Hidden wedge boot? Yeah, I'd believe it. You can tell. Look at this right here. This is where his toes end. His feet are severely angled upward. I wouldn't doubt for a second. That's why he wears those fucking boots. Yep. There we go again. Definitely. The director of the UN's New York office just resigned after 30 years over their handling of the ongoing genocide of Palestinians. The entirety of his resignation letter is a necessary read, but the first page blew me away. Dear High Commissioner, this will be my last official communication to you as director of the New York office, blah, blah, blah. I write at a moment of great anguish for the world. Many of my colleagues, High Commissioner, we are failing again. Almost 2024, and there's no end in sight to humanity doing everything we can to destroy each other. God, we suck. I believe the French came up with a solution for this a while back. Yeah. If you use force, you're no better than the billionaire class funding the war on Gaza. Uh, okay. None of this will ever end because it's simply mammalian nature. I don't know why anyone has a hard time grasping that. There's always going to be conflict. We've merely built tools that are better at destroying things. It's the economy, stupid. Check the scoreboard. It's always the conservatives. To quote Mr. Lemmy Kilmeister, eat the rich. I don't know who that is, but I'm sure he's not the only one that says that. I don't care if Ron DeSantis wears lifts in his shoes to compensate for an inferiority complex. I care that he's a fascist. Yeah, we all do. That's why it's extra fun to make fun of the fact that he has lifts in his boots. Oh, for the first time since 2002, the infant mortality rate in the US has risen 5.6 deaths per thousand live births. Something else the conservatives can be proud of, right? Ooh, and here we go. Trump Jr. takes the stand and swears to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. He gives his address as 725 Fifth Avenue, headquarters of the Trump Org, which is not his home address. Maybe he was just testing them. Oh my God. First woman. I have a doctorate degree and a Nobel Prize. Second woman. I will cook for you and take care of your family. How to explain to the ladies that 99% of men will choose the second one. My favorite part of this is that the first woman never offered him anything, she just exists. He also can't spell woman right. Still waiting for my late adult tibia growth spurt. Funny. Ooh. A male escort in Louisiana is claiming he had a relationship with Mike Johnson, who reportedly frequented a local gay bar as a young man. And this surprises who? Oh boy. British military tanks are equipped to make tea. Why aren't Republicans bitching about this? You know, they complain about feminine guys not being able to join or fight in our army, which is bad for them because, of course, they're a bunch of pussies who are never going to enlist. But don't mention anything about the British drinking tea in their tanks, which is actually pretty badass if you ask me. Wow, there are wild animals out there. Who knew? Wow, cool. Wow, that's really fucking cool. You are not punishing Biden for not demanding a ceasefire by not voting. You're punishing yourself. A lot of people who talked about a trans genocide in the US are saying they're not going to vote for Democrats and let Republicans win. So they never cared about trans people. They wanted to use us to virtue signal. Foreign policy remains more or less the same regardless of which party is in power. The terrified 16-year-old trans kid, however, will see a world of difference the more Republicans win. That is very brilliant. Plea Deal by Ivanka. What an ugly bottle. She would come out with a perfume with an ugly bottle. Palestinian Christians are the oldest Christian community in the world. Ha! Have you all seen Ron's newest pair of boots? Blue is the way to go. New poll of the Arizona Senate race. The Democrats at 41 and Lake is at 37. Cinema is at 17% running as an independent. Looks like she's splitting the Republican vote, so Kari Lake is going to lose again. See, this is what I was hoping for. I said from the beginning that this was really, really awesome. You want these people split, so it's even better for us. Let them fucking eat each other. Ew. Gross. Biden's cutting off Pell Grants, school lunches, and billions of other federal education dollars to any school that refuses to follow his new and radical transgender and LGBTQ policies. So basically, you're upset schools are going to be penalized for discriminating against children. So where's the Bible quote for this take? Governor of Florida for some reason. Funny. Elon Musk offers Zuck $1 billion if he changes the name of Facebook to Faceboob. Yeah, I'll take his money. I'll change it for a day. Like Zuckerberg needs his fucking money anyway. Offer me $1 billion. I'll write Faceboob on my boobs for you. And nobody can really say anything because I'll be a billionaire. At what point is this considered blackface? Ha! Come on, fucking Reddit. This site sucks. Dressed like a dick for Halloween in China. That's kind of cute. Yeah, okay. Just go out and shoot the ice. When you're on national television making fun of Joe Biden for calling the Hubble telescope the Webb telescope, and are doubled over with how funny it is without realizing there is the James Webb telescope. Oh, oh. Where did those come from? Oh, look at the little pup. He
But
wants
that's not.
those
No one's claiming that that's what's
trees.
happening here. Can I run something by you, Stuart?
Sure.
What if Hamas was hiding in Israel? What would the Israeli government do then to eradicate them?
They would take them out.
But no, what would they do? Would they adopt the same policies? Would they be blowing up Israeli hospitals after issuing a warning to get all the patients out of intensive care?
That's another myth, isn't it? They haven't blown up.
Well, don't let me distract you from the question I asked. How do you think the Israel? No. I said that they have, prior to presumably bombarding it, they've issued an order to evacuate from the Al Quds hospital in Gaza City. So no, we can agree on what the facts are. Let's not get distracted from the central question. If Hamas was hiding in Israel, what policies would you still approve of the Israeli collateral damage approach to eradicating
I don't
Hamas?
approve of anything. I don't disapprove or approve of anything.
Okay, would you still use the phrase collateral? Would you still use the phrase collateral damage?
Yes, of course I would.
So 3,000 dead Israelis would be a price worth paying for the pursuit of Hamas.
I didn't say the Palestinians.
Well, what are you saying, Stuart? What are you saying?
I'm just saying it's very important to be specific and be very
I am being
careful on
specific.
language.
I am. I'm saying, what would your...
Presume that Israel are murdering.
No, I've done the opposite of that. I've done the opposite of that. I spent 20 minutes at the top of the show outlining the existential motivation of Israel's actions, talked about Dagestan, and I said people will have a problem with however I do this, and I'm grateful to you for proving that. But I think this is a really important question. Whenever I hear the phrase collateral damage, or I hear objections to language or claims that it's not the same, do you think that if Hamas was hiding in Israel, the Israeli army would be pursuing the same tactics in pursuit of them with regard to civilian life?
No, I don't.
Well, there it is. Why not?
Because Hamas are the enemy in another country. It would be a terrorist situation.
It is a terrorist situation, but why would they not go after Hamas with the same tactics in Israel that they're going after them in Palestine and Gaza?
For obvious reasons.
Well, tell me what they are.
Because they wouldn't be. If they were in a hospital, people do get killed in hospital situations.
Yeah.
They do eventually storm buildings and the hospital.
In case you're not catching this, the British accents or UK country accents over the phone. This dude on the phone is telling this guy on the show. The guy on the show was asking him, Israel's solution, and everyone defending Israel is saying, collateral damage, who cares? That's just the price of war. You got to do whatever you can do to wipe out all of Hamas. And if they take people as human shields, if they're hiding in civilian homes, wherever the fuck they are, whatever the fuck they're doing, just bomb it all. And you know what? Collateral damage is just to be expected in war. And that's what this guy on the phone is saying. So this show host is asking him, and what if Hamas went over into Israel? What if it was discovered that there are dozens, hundreds, thousands of Hamas or Hamas associates, sympathizers, whatever, all in Israel, in Israeli hospitals and in Israeli civilian homes and in their markets and their schools and everywhere? What do you think Israel would do? Do you think they would use the same tactics? In that case, would it just be collateral damage, which is a small price to pay for taking out Hamas? Would you be okay with them bombing hospitals and schools and shooting through shields, human shields, to kill these people? And the guy's trying to backpedal now. No, it's not the same thing. No, that's not what I'm talking about. And the guy's saying, that's what I asked you. Would Israel be doing the same thing, and Israel supporters, would they be calling for the same thing if Hamas were in Israel? And the guy said, no, of course they wouldn't do the same thing. Why not? I want to finish this.
But why is collateral damage acceptable in one?
I didn't say it was acceptable.
Okay. Why is it collateral damage then if it happens in Gaza but not if it happens in Israel?
The motivation is different between the murderous death cult.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. But that's why I'm not asking that question.
When you say words like they're doing it on purpose and it's out of
Of course
revenge, there's absolutely no proof that they are.
I didn't say they were doing it on revenge. I said families of the victims of Hamas attacks have warned Israel's government that revenge is not a policy amid mounting concerns about civilian casualties in Gaza. You don't get to put words in my mouth, but you do get to answer. You do get to answer my question. Why would it be different for the Israeli army to cause collateral damage in Israel as opposed to in Gaza? Why would it be different?
I would say they're less likely to do that.
No, but this is the question. Why would they be less likely to go after Hamas in the same way if they were hiding in Israel that they are if they're hiding in Gaza?
Because they'll be Israelis there.
Pardon?
And they would care more about Israeli lives than Palestinian lives. But they're also.
And that's it. That's all I wanted, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for your honesty. It's 10-4. Right, no, you carry on. Talk about the hostages.
Yeah, well, they're being criticised for ignoring the plight of the hostages. So they are willing to make them collateral damage, if you like. And you said that.
Yeah, no, I think that seems possible to me, and I think that's pitiful as well. But what you're doing is edging ever closer to the thing that you described at the beginning of your call as false equivalent.
I'm just saying you've got to be careful with language.
Okay, well, thanks for the warning.
Ha ha ha! So the caller called in to accuse him of false equivalency. And this guy has just so brilliantly made an example of the caller who is making a false equivalency. Of course, the guy on the phone knows why they wouldn't do the same thing in Israel that they're doing in Gaza, because Israel's their people. Israel's buildings are their buildings. They cost money. Their infrastructure is their infrastructure. Doesn't mean anything when it's the other country But you got to be really careful about shit like that when it's your country. When you're so morally bankrupt and hate-fueled, you can't understand or acknowledge war crimes. You spelled Israel wrong. When they say you either have to support Israel or Palestine, there is a third option. So it's time for the atheist crusade, you say. You son of a bitch, I'm in. The atheist science crusade it is then. What's happening between the Israelis and Palestinians has religious undertones, but it's not a religious war. Having a divine mandate backing your side has always been the major accelerant for violence. This is the whole reason this shit's going on. Israel has no intentions of getting any hostages out. It serves their purpose of erasing Gaza from the map. They don't care about the Israelis, they care about their own agenda. This is kind of like when you ask a racist what states' rights the South were trying to secure. They try to sidestep the question and feverishly try to say anything but the thing they actually want. Because even they realize how fucked up it sounds when they have to say it. Why is it different in one country than another? Because Israeli lives and infrastructure are more important than the Palestinian lives and infrastructure. It took so much to get this guy to admit that double standard, and he tried to flip the blame a couple of times. They know exactly what they're saying. They know what they want. They know that we also know what their end game is, but they'll still try to be as evil as they can get away with. Hamas must hold hostages in order to trade with the exponentially larger amount of Palestinians suffering in Israeli terrorist prisons. Thankfully, they're keeping the hostages well. Palestinians have every right in the world to fight off their terrorists. Although I don't support violence, most of those you called 1,300 civilians killed are soldiers in their military bases. Some are in full military gear. A fair amount of killed civilians are killed by Israeli armies trying to regain control of the areas Hamas infiltrated. I don't doubt a lot of the killed Israeli civilians was on the hands of Hamas. That doesn't absolve Israel military of total incompetence and disregard to their own people's safety. What? Who is he talking to? Jesus, hell must have frozen over. I agree with James O'Brien. Gotta love the attitude of Hamas can blow up hospitals, whatever, versus Israel doing anything and those same people clutch their pearls and cry, won't someone think of the children? That attitude can be summarized into one sentence. For my friends, everything. For my enemies, the law. Ignoring the larger context for the moment, this is very overly simplistic gotcha. In the real world, it is far easier for Israel to conduct a precision raid on friendly territory than in hostile territory. Oh, God. These people are fucking insane. Fucking crazy. Oops. Oh. Oh my God. I guess this guy did win Halloween. Come on, fucking Reddit. Uh-oh, this thread has been locked. I guess religious freaks are getting pissed off. Okay, start this again. He's Jesus on a floating cloud. Oh my God! Oh, his fluff's falling off. Oh, that's cute. No wonder it's locked. Probably a whole bunch of religious freaks in there all pissed off. Okay. Hey there, Mike. What you doing? Something you don't want us to see? Dear News Media discovering now that our new House Speaker, Mike Johnson, has just today deleted his podcast webpage. All the podcasts are saved and archived because we figured this would happen. Oh, God, I can't wait. He should have done this beforehand. Not that it would have mattered. The hypocrisy of deleting a podcast entitled Truth Be Told. Hey, Mikey, you're just telling the truth, so why are you trying to hide it? Because it's his truth by L'Oreal. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe he was born bigot. He's a bigot, you know what I mean? And he does his little turn in the Congress. Yeah, in the Congress. Yeah, in the Congress. Yeah. He's too racist for his house. The Christian fundamentalist takeover of government won't happen overnight, but it will happen. I can't believe it's not God's love. Maybe it's Santorum. Oh, God, thank you for that last one. It must be my least favorite nail polish color. Maybe it's Maybelline. See, truth is a marketing brand, not ever the thing they're really selling. How would capitalism work if companies had to be honest with people? You think Snickers is only going to sell their king sizes to monarchs? That's ridiculous. Truth is copywritten as an extension of our alternative facts program. Not real. Don't hate him because he isn't beautiful. Every conservative's completely unironic favorite gift. Just pick up a Bible, I'm sure it's all in there. Just Republicans are flat out cowards. Yes, sir? People who tell the truth by nature rarely declare they only speak the truth. Conversely, well-known liars will frequently say it's true, believe me, as they're lying. It's not a lie if you believe it. George Costanza. And that's really funny. That's really funny for two reasons. Number one, because it's George Costanza. Number two, this is the advice he gave Jerry, who was trying to beat a lie detector test. Just so you know. I totally believe that his wife spent a lot of time on her knees, however. What else is this scum taking off the internet? Where are all the Reddit and Twitter investigators at? They're good at digging, and we know these GQP scums hate diggers. It's almost as if they know their beliefs are so whacked out, it will make him very unpopular. No, that can't be it. Anything pastoral is unregulated bullshit. Pastoral. Bullshit. Yeah, I'm going to have to post this shit right on Twitter. I don't care enough about this guy to bother doing it myself, though. I shouldn't post it if I'm not willing to dig myself. Maybe because I don't want to go through any of this guy's podcasts. I don't give a fuck what's on them because I don't give a fuck about him or anything somebody like him has to say. I mean, of course you're going to find a lot of interesting shit that would make him very unpopular on there. But maybe, those people who like to play sleuth and feel it necessary to do so might see it as a challenge and go ahead and do it. I don't know. Where's my Starbucks? Okay, I need a Starbucks. Bye-bye.